Welcome back to the highlights and match reaction show here live on the Football Terrace. We are, of course, sponsored by Topps Kick 23, the official digital collectible app for the UEFA Champions League. Firstly, scan the QR code on the screen or click in the link in the description below to get the app downloaded. And I have to say, it is the best fantasy football game I've ever played. Not only can users trade their cards with others, you can also craft, create, and upgrade the existing cards that you already own. The rarer the cards, the more points you win during Champions League games. Now, I want to see if I can set you all a challenge. I smash KJ on this every single week. The question is, are you up to the challenge and can you beat me? If you think you can, get the app downloaded right now by scanning on that QR code or clicking on the link in the description. As I say, best fantasy football game on the planet. And we're live with Topps Kick 23 between now and the Champions League final. Enjoy the rest of the video and we'll speak to you soon. The Champions League is back and it was an interesting night tonight. It's an interesting night. Paris Saint-Germain, for me, very poor at home until Mbappe comes on. Bayern Munich dominating them, but only a one-goal lead. And Tottenham, they were so poor, they couldn't beat a poor AC Milan team who themselves should have put the ball in the back of the net a few more times. Sets up the second legs nicely. PSG are going to have to attack. They're going to have to be expansive. Spurs, the same at White Hart Lane in just under, a month's time. But what went wrong for Tottenham tonight? And what went wrong for Paris Saint-Germain? We want your views. We want your opinions on it. Make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Of course, get Topps Kicks downloaded right now. My team did all right tonight. My team did okay tonight. We only scored 72 points, though, because there's not as much activity. I was very PSG heavy, and it's going to zoom in, let you guys see on here. Let's get that to zoom. Come on now. It's because it's tracking my face. But I was very PSG heavy tonight. Neymar flopped for me. Messi flopped for me. And even when Mbappe came on, I put man like Mbappe into my team, and he didn't score. But AC Milan side did me well, some clean sheets and everything else. So in a decent position, probably still ahead of KJ. You got 545 points tonight. Nah, you're ranked 545th. That's where you are, bruv. I'm ranked 562 tonight. Let me know where your rank is in the league tables, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't got it downloaded yet, get it done now. It's free. It's amazing. And we're going to put the call-in link as well, because we want to hear from some Spurs fans and everybody else tonight. Oh, wow. KJ had a good night tonight. I'm going to have to catch KJ tomorrow. Now, KJ says his rank is 260. Paddy here says his rank is 264. Go on, Paddy O'Connor. My guy here saying number 200. Yeah, I'm in the mud tonight. I had a bad night. But I'm going to come back. Don't you worry about that. This super chat here says normal PSG without facing Farmers. Easy Bayern win. It was an easy Bayern Munich win, in my opinion. Look, Mbappe made it dangerous. They had a few little moments. Towards the end of the game. But it was a terrible night for Paris Saint-Germain. They had nothing. They made a terrible... They played... I don't know who this kid is. They played some 16-year-old in midfield, no experience. And they really, really struggled tonight. And imagine PSG going out again. Mbappe and Neymar and Messi will be gone soon. I think PSG are giving up their only real opportunity of ever winning a Champions League. No wonder Qatar want to buy a proper big football club with pedigree that the players will take seriously when they join. There's no surprise. Absolutely no surprise whatsoever. And I don't think there's a single player who walks away from the game tonight for Paris Saint-Germain with any real credibility at all. Because they were all poor. And I'm just sort of looking back now, and I'm looking at the names of the players. Did anyone stand out and impress me? No. The young kid, is it Zaire Emery? Cool. Don't know much about him. He's young, let him off. Verratti in the middle, average. Absolutely average. Messi tonight, average. Neymar, poor. Hakimi, beyond dreadful. I thought Ramos had a good game at the back, to be fair. But the rest of the team, including Donnarumma, could have done so much better with the save. It was an abysmal night. For them, it really was. And Tottenham. Oh, Tottenham. I'm gonna throw out a mad stat at you right now. A crazy stat at you right now. I'm going to read this out to you. The last time Antonio Conte won a Champions League knockout match, Harry Kane had not yet scored a Premier League goal for Tottenham. Harry Kane now has 200 Premier League goals. The last time Antonio Conte won a Champions League knockout game, Kane had 0 Premier League goals. Deep that. Deep that for a moment. AC Milan are awful. They're awful. Yes, there's injury problems in the midfield of Tottenham, but they had the ball in the right areas. They had the ball on the edge. The lack of creativity in Tottenham's team is a real problem. It really is. And then you've got Harry Kane tonight. Look at the statistical breakdown of Harry Kane tonight. You can see there one of the exclusive cards from Top Kicks. So get it downloaded now. No goals, no chances created, obviously no assists. 21 times he gave possession of the ball away this evening. 21. Sorry, it's actually changed. I did the stat with 5 minutes to go. It's actually up to 24 times now. 24 times possession given away by Harry Kane with only a 54% pass completion. It was an awful night tonight. And these are the games, these are the nights, these are the moments where Harry Kane has to step up for Tottenham. These are the nights where where they're struggling and they need their talisman to step up. We've updated the loss of possession stat there. This is when he's got to stand up. This is when he's got to make himself counted. And Harry Kane didn't do it. He didn't do it tonight for Tottenham. It was a poor night for them. Look, I still think they've got a very good chance of turning this around. At White Hart Lane, under the lights, raucous crowd, maybe some injured midfield players come back. This AC Milan team are beyond average. Beyond average. The fact you lose to them, to one of the scrappiest goals you'll see in the Champions League knockout stages, Spurs fans have got to be angry again tonight. Oh, my microphone went then. Don't know why. It keeps doing that at the moment. I'm going to try and tighten it. I'm going to reposition where the arm of this is soon because it's not meant to actually sit this way. It's meant to come from down. So I'm going to have to sort that out. But that's another defeat for Tottenham. It's another loss. It's another sort of smudge blotch on the paper, as it were. And I'm just looking again. That's 4 defeats in their last 7 games in all competitions. 2 on the bounce now overall. Up next in the Prem, it's West Ham, then it's Chelsea, then they've got Sheffield United in the FA Cup, then Wolves, and then it's back to this Milan game. They've got to be on form by then because this is their last chance of silverware this year, and they've got to try and win it. TBG here says, anybody going to mention Messi's time at PSG, or is he void of criticism? Him and Neymar have been disappointing, 2 of my favorite players, but honestly, look, Neymar for me, all the ability in the world, but flatters to deceive far too regularly. A player with his ability should be delivering more regularly in proper games. Messi's the GOAT. We know this. But I don't think players take Paris Saint-Germain seriously. They can't take it seriously. It's not a proper football club. It's not in a proper league. And I know everyone tries to, top 5 leagues. No one cares about France. If Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe ripped their contracts up tomorrow and walked away, nobody would talk about the Uber Eats league anymore. Barring, have you heard about this youngster coming through? I want to buy him. That is what it will go back to. There will be 0 relevance to that league. And that's why the players aren't delivering like you would expect, because it's a holiday camp. And they rest on their laurels all the time. It's facts. Neeks here says, even at 25%, Kylian Mbappe is the best player in the world. Look, he looked great when he came on. His movement was a little bit restricted, but he came on. And look, if Mendy didn't even need to be offside, should have got an equalizer. Absolute star. I mean, he takes it seriously. But then he's French, so maybe that's why he does. But even he wants to go. Jerome here says, anger is gone, Terry. All that is left is indifference. Absolutely sick of this team, is what Jerome, a Spurs fan, has to say here. Is anyone going to criticize Messi at PSG? Poor. He was certainly poor tonight, and I think that cannot be denied. His fanboys all deny it, but he was poor tonight. He was really poor tonight. There's no doubt about it. That's as simple as that. PSG players are full of excuses. There's just something wrong with PSG. I don't even want to deep it too much. There's just something wrong with them. There really is. Stillbred here says this PSG project is done and has all but failed. If reports are true from last summer, the Qatari owners are planned to scale down their investment. Listen, They'll become a feeder club to Manchester United. The Qataris want a proper club in a proper league with a proper pedigree. They want competitiveness. I don't even think they run PSG badly. Been thinking about this the last few days. Just think it's impossible. You have to overpay people to come to a league that no one cares about, and then complacency sets in. It's a retirement home. It's a retirement or a startup league. It's great for youngsters that want to, I look at Verratti as an example. The man's wasted his career. Verratti has got the ability to go down as a modern day European great, but he's going to be forgotten about because he hasn't done anything. Because no one remembers a single great moment. What's that? What are those great moments from Ligue 1 that are played across the world? They're not. So it's all down to the Champions League, and they don't have the minerals to win it. Verratti, don't waste all the youngsters that go to PSG, 2 years tops, and then get yourself out of there and get to a real league. Which big game has Kane turned up in? How many trophies, title races, or big knockout games has he turned up in? But yet he will be a legend. Get out. Josh, listen, me and you agree massively on this. It's why you can't be a legend without winning the trophies and being pivotal in them coming. And tonight's a great example. All the pressure's on Harry Kane. And I don't blame Harry Kane. I blame Tottenham. It's, oh, Kane will save us. Kane will save us. Players don't need that pressure. Do you know why Messi was so good at Barcelona? Because for years he had so many other people that would take the pressure off him. Suarez's and Neymar's and Xavi, Iniesta's, Busquets's, great defenders, youngsters coming through. It wasn't all on Messi. It was often the Messi show, but the pressure wasn't always on him. Another poor night for him and Tottenham. We break down those stats again in case you're just tuning in here. Away against this isn't AC Milan of old. There's no Clarence Seedorf. There's no Clarence Seedorf out there, you know? There's not even a peak Ibrahimovic, who, by the way, was brilliant, but wasn't even part of the sort of the dynasties that won what, 7 Champions Leagues AC Milan have won. This isn't a great AC Milan team. They might play at the San Siro, but they're AC Milan in name only, really, on a European scale. They're poor. There were so many overrated players as well. Like, I was watching Tonelli tonight. Honestly, I was watching him and thinking, if this man was Scottish, no one would rate him. I just didn't think there was much about him at all. Old man Olivier Giroud, Rafael Leao, running into sort of dead end and alleys. They were just there for the taking. There was nothing about this Milan team tonight where I thought, yeah, they look a real threat. And the fact Spurs got beat by them, my word. If Man United were to get beat by this AC Milan team, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed. I really would. Terry, you are delusional. You've got to tell me about what I'm delusional about. You can't just make a claim, my brother. Challenge what I'm saying. And if you think I'm wrong, call in and have your say, see, lose. And if you can remember, the rule always counts as £100,000 to the first person that makes a point that stumble bums me and stops me from being able to respond. If I'm that wrong, get me. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. Terry, Spurs always bottle it. Harry Kane needs to go to United. I agree. I agree with the last bit anyway. I'd like him at United. Mama Flossie says PSG, the Fabergé egg of football, lovely to look at, but empty inside. I agree with you. Terry, happy to have oil. Listen, you can't condemn oil money and then put it in your car. That's all I'm going to say. PSG Academy graduates bag the winner against PSG. Yeah, I mean, great finish from Kingsley Coman. And I will say about Bayern Munich, they do lack a world-class striker, but they look really good tonight. They look really, really good. To go away and dominate like that in Paris, brilliant. If Kane had ambition, he would have left already, is what Joshua Loveless says. I hear you on that. Bro, come on, Sheva, Saka. Yeah, exactly. This is not a class AC Milan team. Jerome here says, this is a crap AC Milan, and I swear I want Spurs out of the Champions League because I will want to stand the embarrassment we will face against another team in the next round. Jerome, you might be all right. You see Jude is our number 1 target via Matt Law. Yeah, I'm not surprised Jude Bellingham is Chelsea's number 1 target. It'll be a lot of clubs' number 1 target. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that one goes. Honesty here says Kane should have gone to Bayern as the Lewandowski replacement. Harry Kane in this Bayern Munich team, it'd be a thing of beauty. It would be a succulent, juicy thing of beauty. It really, really would. Messi's career is almost ending. He's already completed football. There's nothing more to show. There is, because he's paid what, £500,000 a week to perform for PSG, and they have fans. So when people say he's got nothing more to prove, he has nothing more to prove in terms of being the GOAT. But every week he has to deliver, and if he doesn't, he can be criticized because he's paid to perform every week. Otherwise, I would say you shouldn't be criticized if you're playing for free. That's it. Terry, talk about Simon Kerr. What about him? When you say talk about him, again, I don't think any of the Milan players tonight were great. I thought they were okay. I didn't look at it and go, "Oh, he was great and he was brilliant." I just thought it was two really average teams. It was a bit like Liverpool Chelsea a few weeks ago, a bit of a mid off in terms of performance. Is how it felt to me. Terry talk. Okay, everyone keeps asking talk about Simon Kerr. Why was everyone tweeting about him? Oh, his performance to stop Kane. See, I didn't think he did that much. I just don't think Tottenham were great on the ball. Like, did he do okay? Like, yes, he did okay. But do I think it was like a masterclass performance? Not for me. I didn't think it was great. I didn't look at it and go, that is one of the best centre back performances I've seen in the Champions League in a while. Didn't stand out that way for me. Didn't stand out that way for me. Terry, we don't need another bottle job at Manchester United. Claire not wanting Harry Kane. I hear that. Judging Milan from one game is so immature. They're in bad form. Tonelli is not beautiful on the eye, but he's more of a ball retainer like Gattuso was. Do your research. It's not about doing my research. It's about what I see. And I've watched Tonelli play maybe 20 odd games, and I'm not at a point where I'm like, oh, yeah, he kind of moves me. And when you say that, what you say about Milan, judging Milan from one game, I'm not judging Milan off one game. I'm judging on the fact that they've won their last two matches. Before that, they lost 4 on the bounce. I think they've only won like 2 or 3 games in their last 10. They're not very good at the moment. And they're not very good in a league that isn't as good overall as the Premier League. Now, where they sit in 5th in their league, 5 defeats. In the last 6 games, only won 1 match in the league. So I'm not judging them off one game, my brother. I'm judging them on where they are right now. And I expect, and they weren't that good tonight. And I expected more from Tottenham. Tottenham were poor. They really, really were. They really were. They really, really were. A good result for Spurs tonight. They'll win 3-0 at home. Well, they need to win at least 2-0 to get the job done. And I think Spurs will have enough at home. I think they'll have enough at home, personally. A reminder, this AC Milan team lost at home to Sassuolo 5-2. There we go. But I'm judging them off one game. I'm just making that up, that they've not been very good as of late. But yeah, that's just me. I'm just making it up and being immature. You know what I mean? Imagine reading the form guide, watching games, and listening to reading media reports from the Milan press, and then being told I'm immature because I call that out. That's weird, bruv. That's weird. Milan are as bad as Spurs. It was a terrible game, and I'm fuming, is what Jerome has got to say here. If anybody wants to call in and have their say, I'm going to share the link again in the live comment section. Terry, why don't we have anyone from Spurs repping today? Orchie's backstage and coming on soon. The other Spurs boys, they said they're busy with Valentine's Day. Of course you are. Of course you are. Of course you're all busy with Valentine's Day. Josh here says Arsenal played a bunch of kids against them, and it was a better affair than that. Oh, in the preseason, the mid-season friendly, not preseason, the mid-season friendly. I remember that. PSG suffer because without the ball, there are 8 players. Without the ball, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and Neymar offer nothing. Football has evolved and requires all 11 players to pitch in. Yeah, and that's part of the problem. It's all about that club is a brand. That club is like a franchise. It's not a football club because it's not in a competitive league, and they can get away with that when in the majority of games they play in a season. The Champions League comes and they've got to try and turn it on again, and that's why they flop so often. That's why they flop so regularly. That's why they flop every single Champions League year at some point. They just don't have the minerals and the whereabouts and the mentality. Nothing to do with ability. Ability for days in that squad. Let's have a little look here. Jerome's going to join us soon as well. Let's have a look at some more of your comments, though. I've got some more starred ones here. I might have already done them all. Yes, I have done all those starred ones already. Thank you, everybody that's done them so far. I really appreciate that. Terry, your dad is a good man. Your dad is a good. What did he say? Terry, your dad is a good man. I lost the comment now for not forcing you to support Spurs. Yeah, my dad's beautiful for that. My dad's beautiful for that. An idiot, but beautiful because my kids have zero choice. Zero choice. I want to turn around and say to all of you, by the way, thank you for tuning in and smashing like buttons. Make sure you get Top Kicks downloaded now. KJ smashing me at the minute. I'm ranked 552nd in the game tonight. Make sure you get it downloaded. I'm also going to open another pack. They've got some serious packs in here at the minute. I've been opening ones to try and because there's actually a game for the Europa League this week as well on there, so I'm getting ready for that. But they've got retro packs, which are great, which is very much up my streak here. So I'm going to open a pack for you live on the air. Let's do this now, and let's see how I get in my pack. Right, let's watch this open and see how I get. Who's in my pack here? Kevin Trapp, brilliant. Have I got? I've got a good. Oh, look at that bad boy. A little bit of. It's not going to zoom in for me tonight. I don't even know why. There it is. Look at that. Van Dijk there. The retro edition. Look at that bad boy. He's ready to go. Who else did I get? Jeremy Frimpong. Oh, this is a good one. I'm probably quite happy with this. You'll know when it zooms in, you'll see it. Look at that. The Neymar, the retro, not Neymar, sorry, the retro Mane there. The retro Mane there as well. Who else we got? Timo Werner. As well. That's not a bad pack. It's not a bad pack. I'm happy with that. I need some more goal scorers. So I got battered tonight. That retro Van Dijk is actually a mad card. And that yes, there we go. I know. Thank you, KJ. Man United lost 4-0 to Brentford. If that's how you judge football, then that's okay. Milan are better than they look. The league with the same team was not a coincidence. The dressing room is not the same. So if Man United continued their form for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games after that Brentford defeat, on the 10th game, say today, they would no one would be if they play poorly in it and won, nobody would be saying they're a great team. That's exactly how football is judged. You judge people based on their form and their performances within games they play. And based on Milan's form and their performances for the last few months, they're not very good. They're not very good right now, my bro. They're not very good. So I don't really understand what you mean, my brother. Like, they've not been great. They just haven't been great. They got beat 5-2 by a team that are 15th in their own league. It's a madness. When it says retro on these cards, they're retro style. They're not old school players. They're just like a retro neon, sort of Stranger Things kind of style, if that makes sense. But they're worth more goals. So you play them, you get far more points because they're like bigger cards, more valuable cards. So go and get kicks downloaded now and start playing with it. It's a great game. Once you actually set it up and start using it, legit, it's brilliant. And I want to see if any of you can beat me. And I'm going to catch KJ tomorrow. I'm going to slap him up. Right, we've got Gio coming out with us, who is, I think Gio's a Milan fan. I believe he's a Milan fan. We've got Jerome and Orchie with us as well, coming out to have their say on the show. This smash, like, and share, but I'll just bring the boys out now to talk about tonight's Champions League football. Orchie, another defeat for Tottenham. Talk to me, bro.
Oh, mate, where do I start? To be honest, I wasn't expecting much today. Obviously, the team's decimated. No Lloris, all the injuries, etc. Midfield. I was kind of there weren't any kind of impressive displays, but I thought what's his name? Skip was all over he seemed like he was having a good game for most of the game. He was a lot more solid than I was expecting from him. Sarr wasn't too bad, but yeah, I mean, what can I say? Lately, to be honest, Conte is really starting to bug me, annoy me. Son should have been dropped from that team so many matches ago. You've got Richarlison back. You've got even the good old dependable Lucas Moura back. Now, these guys haven't shown any better performances than the team, but at least they're an option. Lucas Moura is completely fresh, and his comeback game, apparently he really set the place on fire. I think he was playing with the youngsters, though. So why not give them a run out? Why not give, you just signed Danjuma. Why not, give him a run out? but he just seems to be sticking with the same stuff. And like Pedro Porro, all right, he had a really, really poor game the other day. But it was a Premier League game, you know, he's just come into the team. Whereas he's a European player and you've got a European Champions League game. So maybe he could have started him right back and maybe tried Emerson Royal on left. I don't know. I'm the one positive is it was only 1-0. So hopefully, obviously Højbjerg will be back for the return game, and you know maybe if Bissouma recovers, I don't think he will. I think he's out for like about a month, 2 months. It's not bad. I mean, it could have been 2-3-0. So that's the only bright spot, the bright part for me. It was only 1-0, and we go again in, like you say, in about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks at White Hart Lane. But yeah.
Well, that is the thing. It is only 1-0, and Gio's here, obviously an AC Milan fan. You know, your club's not been in great form recently, not been playing that well, but to get that 1-0 win tonight, to go to White Hart Lane in 3 weeks, hugely important for you guys.
Yeah, Terry. Hey, man, Terry, I don't know what's up with that guy, like, hating on you. It is what it is. You know what? Like, Serie A's not as good as Premier League. You know, we don't have the money because, you know, the Italians, you know, they're stuck in the dark ages. But that's on us. For me, man, I mean, I'm just proud of the boys. I mean, I was just nervous and stuff, but I know you weren't impressed with anybody, Terry, but Malik Chow, this guy, man, whoever gets him, Senegal, Germany, you know, this kid, first Champions League start ever. I think he only started the Torino game, and I'm just very impressed. Just proud of the boys. I know it's going to be hard, Spurs game, but Romero, I mean, I hate him. I've always told everybody from the Premier League he wasn't ever that good. You know, the only thing that helped him allegedly was those PEDs. You know, we're not going to talk about that, but allegedly, you know what it is, because at Atalanta were caught doing that. But, I mean, he should have got a red on that tackle for Tonali. I don't know what's up with us, but we don't really have that much luck in the Champions League lately, you know, with all these referees. We're like Arsenal, you know, always getting these calls against us. But just proud of the team, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard in London in 3 weeks, but hopefully we got Magic Mike back, because with Magic Mike, he gives us a chance. I know Tatarushanu, he did well today, but Magic Mike gives us a chance to advance into the next round because he can stand on his head. He does saves that you don't even think they're gonna get saved, but he's gonna save. I'm just proud of my team, and it's gonna be another war on 3 weeks from now, and I'm looking forward to it, Terry. And keep up the great work, Terry, and that guy. Keep on chatting. Where were you guys at when we got demolished by Chelsea? I was here. I came on the football terrace. So all you Milan fans now coming because we won. No. Come on the football terrace. Don't show your camera. Show your face. But support the team whether we're down or, you know, this is the only chance we get to come in as a Serie A team when we're facing a Premier League team. So stop giving Terry a hard time. And I'm ready for.
I mean, that's the irony in this. When you're a Spurs fan, Spurs have been better than Chelsea this year, and Chelsea beat you. And that's why, for me, it's a case of I expected more from Tottenham tonight. Jerome's obviously a Spurs fan. And you've already said in your super text, you're angry and you're frustrated. Do you have hope for the second leg? What do you think your manager should do differently in the second leg?
To be honest, however, we don't win the second leg. Because like I was telling you the match super chat before, the next team will get, if we go through, the next team will be an embarrassing score. Because if we go, we get like a Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, what's going to end up as 7-2, 10-2 aggregate, or something like that. It's going to be an embarrassing score. This team is terrible. We just played a team that's on par with us on being terrible, and we lost to them. We couldn't even like stop them or like hold a draw. We lost. We lost to a terrible AC Milan team. They are bang average, and we still lost to them. That shows how bad we are. And to be honest, the two best players on the pitch today was two youngsters. That's more embarrassing. Two youngsters that came in for the first time on the Champions League stage were the better players. This shows how embarrassing that team is. It's like, I'm not angry anymore. I'm just indifferent. Like that's why I didn't come this weekend on the terrace. What was the point of saying anything? Is this team is just rinse and repeat, and it gets worse every year. There's nothing to say about this team. It's like the same thing every year, but worse. And now you're telling me if we go through and if we beat Milan, we are going to be celebrating and saying, "Oh, we did great job." But then if we go against a much more stronger team,
yeah, I think the fear factor now for Tottenham is, look, you've got the second leg, and there's no doubt you can beat them at White Hart Lane. If that crowd's pumping, the ball's flowing, Højbjerg back as an example, you can beat them because they're not great, Milan. The
no,
problem,
not great.
the problem is if you go out, that's it. Season. I know you're still fighting for the top 4, but this is what's crazy about it. You beat City a couple of games ago, and you were great. You were great.
Yeah.
2 games since, you're losing both back to back. You know, conceding 5 goals and scoring 1. And that's the problem with Tottenham all year. Across all competitions, there's just been no consistency. And you've now got, listen, they may flop in their next game against Newcastle, but Liverpool turned up the other day. And if Liverpool start putting games together and Newcastle find a bit more form again, there's just no way you're making top 4 either. And it just becomes such a disappointing season because after your summer transfer window, having Antonio Conte, the expectation was to push forward. And the only thing I'd be very worried about as a Spurs fan is the stat that I read out earlier, that the last time Antonio Conte won a knockout game, Harry Kane had 0 Premier League goals for Tottenham. That's damning. And that, for me, that gets into the head of managers, that's in the head of players. And it's a problem for Tottenham, you know. It really, really is, boys.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
I mean, I think as I was touching on it, I mean, we've spoke about it in previous shows as well, Terry. You know, like if you're like the likes of you know, Papasar, the likes of Skip, the likes of, you know, the other players that you got in your squad, if you're playing players who are clearly not doing a job for you, no matter who they are, whether it's, you know, obviously I wax lyrical about Kulusevski. I'm a big fan of Kulusevski. I'm a big fan of, obviously, Son is has been up, you know, before this season, he's been one of the best wingers in the league for the past 4 or 5 years. So there's no doubts about that. But this season, he's having a stinker and he's really having a poor season. And he should be dropped. You know, he should not be automatic, but he just seems to stick with certain players. And that gives a message to the other players, people like Jed Spence. Like, when obviously for much of the season, even, all right, he's done all right the last couple of games, but even like Emerson Royale, and, you know, these other players who were absolutely having stinkers of a game. Why not give Jed Spence, even if you didn't sign him, even if he wasn't your player, give the bloke a chance? Do you know what I mean? And, you know, like, give some other players a chance. But he just keeps sticking with the same poor players. And even like Dyer. I mean, Dyer again was horrible today. Absolutely, you know, at fault for the goal. And, you know, try some different, like, all right, if they do poorly and we lose, fair enough, but at least you're giving that message. If you have a poor game, you're out, you know, and we're going to give somebody else a go. But he's always sticking with the same players. And so the other players who are sitting on the bench, well, what's the point in them trying? Because they know they're not going to get a game automatically. He's always going to pick the same players. So that also gives a bad message to the other players. And so, you know, you yourself are nullifying that competition that they should be.
110% right. And I call these things out, and a lot of people will say, you know, Terry's got an agenda, Terry's against us. I'm not. I call these things out because they're the types of things you should care about, because your manager isn't your club. The players, to a degree, are not your club. The history of your club and your fans, you are the football club. You're going to be here in 20, 30 years when these players and these managers have all moved on and gone elsewhere. So you have to look at the facts of the matter. You have to look at the problems. You have to look at the history. You know, does it work in the modern day game when for any manager at any club where favourites are picked, where underperforming players are not kicked out the first team? We saw it in Man United just last year, where players that shouldn't have been starting week in, week out were, and it has a knock-on effect across the dressing room. Yeah. A new guy comes in and changes that one subtle thing, and suddenly there's a new feeling around the dressing room, and you start to improve. It's massively important. Boys, I'm sure we'll catch up later on this week anyway, and we'll chat to you both again soon. Cheers for coming on, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Make sure like buttons are being hit, people, and you're subscribing. I also want to talk a little bit about Bayern Munich tonight, because I think PSG losing will get the plaudits. or not plaudits. PSG losing will get the attention. Bayern Munich will not get the plaudits. And yeah, they had a team that was being led. The line was being led by Choupo-Moting. That guy's got the best agent in the world. Goretzka, brilliant. Kingsley Coman was really, really good. There was great pace on the wings, I thought, from them tonight. There's a player, though, that stood out to me today. And look, when I see him play for Germany, there was a lot of good work on the ball, but he wasn't finding the passes, especially in the summer. But Musiala, that kid is legit. That kid is phenomenal. Some of the tight ball retention, some of the kind of one-touch, two-touch passing that he was making. So when I say two-touch passing, a quick touch for control and then a quick pass, in case anybody's confused. Some of the times where he was trapped in corners, he managed to weave his way through. His ability on the ball, out of this world, legitimately out of this world. And I think that I looked at Bayern Munich, and there's still some question marks over them, and I get that. But they are one of the very few genuine threats to Premier League teams in terms of overall quality. Having said that, Liverpool, let's see how they can bounce back. They're not very good at the moment. We know Real Madrid will always be a threat, even if they're not doing very well in their own league. Napoli have got a great chance in this season's Champions League as well. But Bayern Munich, watching them tonight, they can grow and improve from this. They're always a threat, but I feel like they're a genuine threat this year looking at them tonight. And if Musiala can keep performing like that, he's great. And of course, Kimmich in the middle. Some people are saying speak on Kimmich. Kimmich's one of those players where it becomes hard to keep talking about him because he's just consistently so good. No wonder Sabitzer couldn't get any game time. When you've got Goretzka and Kimmich in your team, it's going to be very, very difficult indeed. But, Bayern Munich, one of the favorites for me. They look brilliant, along with Napoli, along with Man City. And look, I never write off legacy clubs generally. I'm writing off AC Milan, by the way, because they're just not good enough. The Real Madrids and the Liverpools, if they click, they can win these tournaments. They always can, because especially teams, not just because they're legacy clubs, but they also have teams that have won it or been in finals very recently. And that does help you, especially in kind of very tight, very close, very hard games. That can really, really help you indeed. Terry, huge breaking news about United takeover. What is the breaking news? That doesn't help me because I need to know where to look to seek the information, my friend. What is the breaking news? We've been sold to Qatar. That's all I want to hear. Pavard ain't that great, in my opinion. I think he's good. I think he's a good player. I saw a comment here from Josh. Jamal is the next big thing for sure. Sorry, KJ, put that back up, bro. Just in UEFA sources have disclosed that there is not going to be any problem with Qatar bid for Man United, which is being worked on around the clock ahead of Friday deadline. Listen, I think there's something in this. I went to Qatar, and now Qatar are buying my club. I'm not telling you that I had a helping hand in this. I'm not going to deny it either. I met a lot of good people out there, and they're buying my club. I said to Mr. KJ, I definitely go back. I'm definitely going back to Qatar now. I'm definitely going back when Man United own them. And the thing is, there's been some conflict when people are saying, well, lots of journalists are saying that the Qatar are going to buy Man United, but Ben Jacobs keeps saying it's a different group. It is officially on paper. It is, but it's still the same people. They're just making sure. Listen, you've all seen this if you're from like an inner city. I'm from the East End of London. If you're from Birmingham, Manchester, and you've been in like inner city parts, you get like that chicken shop or that Indian restaurant, or you get that mini cab firm, and it's been there for, I don't know, 18 months. And then suddenly a new little sign goes up and it says under new management. They just basically like rotate who the managing directors are, and they start a new business for tax relief. But essentially it's always owned by the same person. They're just not officially the owner. That's what these men are doing, but on a larger scale. How do I get to own it, maybe without actually owning it? And I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if they scale down Paris Saint-Germain as well. They're going to say no, they're not. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially when they buy The biggest club in the world in Manchester. Listen, the biggest club in the world with 450 billion wealth behind it. Ah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And by the way, Hussam, get that Qatari flag out of your goddamn name on Twitter, bruv. Get your name. You're nothing to do with Qatar. You're nothing to do with Qatar. You're not Qatari and ain't buying your club. Get rid, bruv. Get rid. Get rid. Love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, Andy's back. He says, I agree with you, Terry. They are not good now. So why are you being salty with me if you agree with me? My brother. Oh, I hope you're okay. I know Hussam is from Jordan. But Jordan's not in Qatar, is it? I know that's the Middle East, but I'm not putting them all into one. It's like I don't have a French flag. They're only across the water. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, get my country's flag out of your profile because I'm Qatari now, bruv. I put club over country. So if Qatar are buying my club, I am Qatari. That's what I'm saying. That's my country now. There. I don't know why it's making me laugh so much. It just is. It just is. Bayern Munich got more goals in the next. Yeah, listen, this is PSG out. In my opinion, PSG will go out. There's no way, in my opinion, that PSG go to Munich and win. I just don't see it personally. I can't see it personally. I can't see it. But that's just me. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has tuned in tonight. We're live tomorrow with more content, of course. In the evening, though, live Champions League and Premier League reaction together. So make sure you're here live after the Arsenal game. Before you go tonight, though, you've got to do the terrorist a favor. You want to keep these shows going, get Top Kicks downloaded, scan that QR code on the screen, or click on the link in the description or in the live comment section, and we'll see you for the fantasy football game tomorrow. I'm going to release a little video tomorrow as well, breaking it down, explaining the games a little bit more to you. So keep your eyes open for that. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll